Now in studio is Marques Phillips. And Marques, who's now working in government, I should be fair.
I do work in government.
Is a former reporter with the Observer-Dispatch and with Utica Daily News. And we actually did that together a long time ago. So I always go to Marques for my... I'm trying to find the guy that's willing to come out and speak, that's liberal. And how do you feel about the first 100 days of President Trump?
Where do I start? You know what? The policy things you're going to debate, whether it's healthcare or tax reform.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that's how a system works, and elections have consequences. So they don't bother me. What bothers me is that, you know, his supporters have taken on the posture that every single thing that he does, we're going to defend. And I think some of it's scary because, you know, there's things we should all agree is wrong.
Right.
Like the other day I was watching on TV, him and the president
Andrew, can you tilt his microphone up for him there? Just tilted. There you go. Okay.
Him and the president of China were in his restaurant eating steak.
Yes.
And I was thinking, are we paying him to eat his steak?
Yeah. Well,
Like,
it might be.
When
That's
they got
an
this
interesting
$22 million trips to Mar-a-Lago, which is fine. The president, you know, but he's not going to Camp David or something.
But Obama did a lot of trips.
No,
I mean,
he
they
did
say he was the
trips.
golfing president.
But here's
although
the difference.
that record might be beaten.
How much of that $22 million is he ordering the government to pay him through his business?
Yeah. So the conflict of interest.
But it's not only the conflict of interest, it's using the government to make yourself richer.
Yesterday was very interesting. The president was speaking yesterday about, and I found this very odd. Was talking about how great our military is, and almost he tends to brag. And we have submarines that are so much greater than those aircraft carriers. I mean, it's an odd sound coming from the president.
It's an odd sound, and there's odd things. You know, when we were just talking about local politics. Remember when we were at Utica Daily News? And Dave Raffaero hired his nephew as the spokesperson and made his friend the police chief.
Mm-hmm.
The friend's appointment got rescinded. People like Tim Trent and those guys were circulating petitions saying this is the friends and family plan, class of 77. This guy's daughter, right? This guy's daughter and his son-in-law are making war and peace decisions and representing our nation as foreign envoys. And the reason why that's a problem isn't just because I don't like his daughter and son-in-law. It's because
they're a step up. I felt that her being there is actually probably a good thing at this point.
The reason we don't do that in America, I have to remind people, is because they're not accountable like other government employees. So he's not going to fire his kid.
Yeah.
So she can do whatever she wants.
It poses issues. It poses problems.
Right. So we never did that as a government. For some reason, his supporters don't have a problem with that. And the things we've always agreed on. Don't profit off your government. Like, are the Secret Service staying in rooms at his hotel? Is he charging the government greens fees?
Well, I will. I don't know the answer, but I know there's a secure room at that facility now, in Florida, because that's where, when the attack happened, when we bombed Syria, that's where the president watched from with the military from his secure room at Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah, but I think we could get to the policies and say, okay, you know, this is Republican policy, Democratic policy, Trump policy. If we say, but you have to operate like a regular person. Right. Like when they talk about the strikes, right, on another country. In my lifetime, the United States of America has never struck another country without any allies. You know, just us standing in.
Is that true?
No, Libya was a UN resolution. Mm-hmm. Kosovo was NATO. Iraq, we had a bunch of British people have died. We had a bunch of allies going there with us. Afghanistan was a NATO action. Yeah. Right. The only time I can remember is Kenya and Tanzania after Al Qaeda blew up that ship.
Well, wouldn't you say, though, the chemical weapons used on these innocent people, women, adults, men, children, that's a horrific act, and something had to be done? Do you buy that?
No, he had to do something, and something needs to be done. But again, it goes to my thing. I just think he's lazy because, like, call an ally. If it's a crime against humanity or against international norms,
wouldn't this, though, support the fact that Donald Trump is not Barack Obama? Barack Obama, there was the red line in the sand, and he said, "I'm going to go. We're gonna go after Assad," and then he decided not to, which was a big blunder. Isn't this Trump saying, "Look what I can do"?
No, it is. But when we respond to humanitarian crises, or we usually do it with humanity. Right. Because then it's not the United States against Iran, Syria, and Russia. It's the world telling you we're not going to tolerate this. Yeah. And all that takes is phone calls in a State Department and alliance building. And you do the same thing without us carrying the whole burden. They're always talking about NATO paying their fair share. Well, they don't even need to pay their fair share if we just bomb everybody.
That's right. And isn't this really is putting America first? When you threaten our citizens with chemical weapons, we have to react.
Right, but it's the whole world has to react. Yeah. Because now, what are we going to do the same thing in North Korea? I mean, how many wars can we fight by ourselves?
Well, the North Korea thing is something a lot of people are paying attention to right now. Going to be very interesting what the move is there.
If I was a strategist in Russia...
Do you let them get a nuclear weapon? And maybe they already have it.
You need to build coalitions. Yeah. Because if I was a strategist in Russia... or China or Iran, and I hated the United States leadership, Western democracy, I just try to spread us thin, right? So you start a conflict in Syria. We're already at war in 4 other countries, you know, Yemen, Libya, Iraq. You start one in North Korea, and then all of a sudden you got these troops all over the world that can be attacked at different angles from different places. If we do it as a world, we take less of the burden, and it's more credible. It's not just us. They can't say we're making it up or it's fake news, because the United Nations, NATO, decided to do this.
Interesting stuff. I see. So you are supporting Trump now.
Oh, I'm on his side.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm always supporting the president in some degree.
Well, like it or not, he is your president.
He's the president.
Yeah. All right. Next time I want you in, I want to talk local politics.
Oh, I have a lot to say about local politics.
There's a lot to say about local politics. Will there be a casino that goes downtown?
I don't know if there'll be a casino. Here's my thing on that. I try not to take too long, but I don't know if there'll be a casino downtown. They're working on it. They did it in Buffalo with the Senecas. There's a lot of people that are against the casino. Yeah. They were going to put housing projects there. That got stopped. There was a lot of people against that. It was really contentious vote on the council. There was a plant that was supposed to go up on Leland Ave for asphalt. A lot of people were against that. Remember, people were against Stewart when they were redoing.
Well, there was a couple of people against Stewart's.
Right.
It wasn't like a 50-50 issue.
That was the Trump crew.
Right. But listen, it is the Trump crew. But when they were redoing Route 49, remember, it was the Trump crew that had signs and you're taking people's houses and stuff. Anytime you try to do anything in the city of Utica, there are 20 people that say no.
Hospital.
No matter what it is. We could put Disneyland down.
Roundabout.
They said the roundabout. You could think everybody here, the hospital, right? You can't put a hospital there. You can't put a casino there. You can't put housing there, and we don't like the gun range. So, well, what do you want?
The gun range hasn't happened yet, but that's coming.
Yeah, what do you want?
Yeah.
And there's never going to be any progress.
What I want is a sports team, a casino, a beer museum, and is there one more? And a gun club.
I want
and the Inside House, all in the same general area. It's crazy.
When people say we're going to come and invest in your city,
yes,
I think our answer should be yes, please.
Yeah, I agree, but don't you think the asphalt plant right there on the banks of the Mohawk was a problem?
I think you can have a problem with any individual project.
Right.
But on the asphalt plant, the controller said, well, that's going to make us $250,000 a year in tax revenue. Well, then we're going to raise your taxes 1%. Yeah. I mean, you can't have it both ways. You can't say I want to block businesses that are going to pay taxes, but I don't want to pay taxes. But maybe
moving that asphalt plant to over on Broad Street, or and then the apartments, maybe that wasn't the best place for the apartments.
But again, what's the alternative? It did move to Broad Street. Yeah. The alternatives are these places aren't going to do businesses with you. Yeah. And nobody likes it because the perfect is the enemy of the good here.
It would be nice if the mayor and common council, everybody got together first and we're all on the same page. Then it doesn't end up being argued out in the public.
That's not going to happen.
Well, plus, they can't always control the offers they get. A guy wants to build a business, sometimes where he wants to build it, and he says, take it or leave it. Right. The common council can't say, well, move over here. Well, I don't want to go there. I want to be next to the thruway.
Yeah. All right, Marcus, interesting stuff. I let you go long.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
And we appreciate it.